One of the everlasting universal wealth creation concepts is that the more one gives, the more he will receive. This maxim has most likely been stated several times, and in many different orders. Perhaps many people are familiar with the principle of karma. It stresses that individuals will eventually receive the consequences of their deeds. However, practically in every expression of that principle, there is something essential missing from the proposition. The element of giving may trigger receiving. However, deep down, everybody is well aware that there has to be more to it than that. Otherwise, everyone would be affluent and should lead a comfortable life. It is a well-known fact that giving is more divine and satisfying than receiving. However, people must first ensure that their priorities are set before deciding to contribute